Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder. Today we're diving into an American Express report, and let's just say it might make you rethink how often you swipe that card. What we're going to look at is how much people are spending, how much they owe, and importantly, how much they aren't paying back. It's a peek behind the curtain of your credit card bill. This document is called an 8K form. It's like a quick update companies give to the government about important events. In this case, American Express is sharing details about how its cardholders are doing with their payments. The date on this report is February 18th, 2025, so the information is pretty recent. The company we're talking about today is American Express Company. You probably know them for their credit cards. Here's the meat of the report. American Express is giving us a peek into how their customers are handling their credit card bills. They're focusing on customers in the United States, both regular consumers and small businesses. They're looking at two main things: how many people are behind on their payments, which is called delinquency, and how much money they don't expect to get back, which is called write-offs. These numbers can tell us a lot about the health of the economy and how confident people are about their finances. Now let's get into the actual numbers. Remember, these are for January 2025, December 2024, and November 2024. It's like getting a monthly checkup on American Express's lending business. One thing to keep in mind is that American Express sold off some of its loans from its Lowe's small business credit cards. This happened in December 2024. So the January and December numbers don't include those loans, which were worth about $758 million. This means we're only seeing loans that American Express still owns and plans to keep. Alright, let's break down the numbers. First, for regular folks, American Express card loans totaled about $89.4 billion in January 2025. In December, that number was higher at $92.6 billion, and in November, it was $89.3 billion. The percentage of people who are 30 days late on their payments was 1.4% for all 3 months. That's like saying out of every 100 people, a little more than one person is a month behind on their bill. The net write-off rate, which is the amount of money American Express doesn't expect to get back, was 2.3% in January, 2.1% in December, and 2.0% in November. This tells us about how many people are not paying back their balances. Now let's look at small businesses using American Express cards. In January 2025, the total loans were $30.1 billion. In December, it was $29.6 billion, and in November, it was $30.7 billion. The percentage of small businesses that were 30 days late on their payments was 1.6% in January, 1.5% in December, and 1.5% in November. So small businesses are slightly more likely to be behind on their payments than regular consumers. The net write-off rate for small businesses was 2.5% in January, 2.4% in December, and 2.3% in November. Again, this is a bit higher than the rate for regular consumers, meaning American Express is losing more money on small business loans. If you add up both regular consumers and small businesses, the total card loans were $119.5 billion in January 2025. In December, it was $122.2 billion, and in November, it was $120.0 billion. It's important to note that American Express also uses something called the American Express Credit Account Master Trust, which we can shorten to Lending Trust, to manage some of its loans. This Lending Trust is like a pool of loans that are packaged together and sold to investors. The loans in this trust don't have the same characteristics as all of American Express's loans. There are differences in the types of loans, how old they are, and how they are managed. This means that the performance of the lending trust might look better or worse than the overall performance of American Express's loans. One key difference is how American Express calculates write-offs for the lending trust. They use the loan balances at the end of the month, while for the overall portfolio, they use the average loan balances over the month. This can make a difference in the final numbers. The numbers can also change from month to month because of things like how many days are in a month, when holidays fall, and even when American Express gets information from other companies. So it's important not to read too much into 1 month's numbers. To give you an idea of how the lending trust is performing, here are some numbers In January 2025, the total amount of loans in the trust was $25.5 billion. The amount of loans that defaulted, meaning people stopped paying, was $0.05 billion. The annualized default rate, which is the percentage of loans that are expected to default over a year, was 1.5%. The total amount of loans that were more than 30 days late was $0.2 billion. We can compare these numbers to December and November. In December 2024, the total loans were $26.9 billion. The defaulted amount was $0.04 billion, and the default rate was 1.2%. In November 2024, the total loans were $25.9 billion. The defaulted amount was $0.04 billion, and the default rate was 1.3%. So the lending trust has been relatively stable over the past few months. Now, let's step back and look at what all these numbers mean. American Express is a huge company, and these numbers are just a small part of their overall business. But they can tell us a lot about the health of the economy and how people are feeling about their finances. The fact that delinquency and write-off rates are relatively low suggests that most people are managing their credit card debt responsibly. However, the slight increase in write-off rates in January 2025 could be a sign that things are starting to get a little tougher for some people. It's good to remember that write-off rates are expected to increase in the coming years. From a financial perspective, American Express seems to be in a pretty good position. Their stock is currently trading around $220 a share. Based on their earnings, a reasonable price range would be between $210 and $230. This suggests that the stock is currently fairly valued. American Express is a strong company with a well-known brand and a loyal customer base. However, they do face some risks, such as the possibility of a recession, which could lead to higher delinquency and write-off rates. Also, they are in heavy competition in the financial services market from other banks and credit card providers. The company's reliance on consumer spending makes it vulnerable to economic downturns. There may also be new fintech companies rising that become serious competitors in the future. Overall, I'm slightly bullish on American Express. The company is well managed and has a strong track record. While there are some risks, I believe that the company is well positioned to continue to grow and generate profits in the years ahead. Thanks for watching, and if you found this analysis helpful, please subscribe to Corporate Decoder for more insights into the world of finance.